To get the desired result in the fight against corruption, there's a need to establish a grassroots paradigm in good governance, accountability, and transparency. This came up on the sidelines of a public lecture organized by the Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, CACOL, in Lagos. Executive Chairman of CACOL, who gave a presentation introduction to dynamics of corruption, hinted that corruption at the grassroots is a fallout of corruption in high places, hence the need to use a bottom-top approach. Adenira also called for the cooperation of community leaders to win the fight against corruption at the grassroots.
These leaders come from their community. They know them from the beginning. They know how they grew up. They can tell their story. That exactly is the reason why we are putting the people at the local government together, at the neighborhood together, to understand the concept of corruption, how corruption are perpetrated, how they can be identified, how they can be reported, because who to report to is another, and how to report corruption cases is another problem. That is what we are exposing people at the grassroots to, so that at the end of the day, they know that if they don't fight corruption, corruption will destroy them. Corruption will kill them if they don't join hands in killing corruption.
National President Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, Malaki Ugummadu, says Nigeria must go back to the days when corrupt people were ostracized from the community, lamenting that Nigerians now celebrate unscrupulous leaders. Similarly, another anti-corruption crusader present at the lecture says fighting corruption is very easy if only the masses who are the victims organize themselves to take ownership of the anti-graft war.
Corruption is a function of the crisis we face for lack of leadership. Corruption was introduced in Nigeria by the failure of leadership. And therefore, the more of this engagement we have, the more our people are convinced that it is not part of us. As Africans whose lives are founded on integrity, honor, principle, character, strength of character, we cannot be associated with corruption. There are moments in the past when thieves are ostracized from our society because they dipped their finger maybe in the public tilt. Those are the old good days. Today, thieves are celebrated.
It is to mobilize the people, the masses who are being cheated, to buy into the anti-graft war, take ownership of it. When you take ownership of it, if you know you are a victim of something, you take ownership of it, you fight it out. You don't just fold your hands and think EFCC or ICPC or the federal government will do it all for you. You have to be involved in the process. For instance, starting from the budget level, you know how much is budgeted for a particular project. Mid-year, nothing happened. Somewhere towards the end of the year, a little bit is done. And you keep quiet. For instance, the people working in EFCC and ICPC, they are not ghosts. They are human beings like you. They won't know everything.
The first thing is, we must, by our own organizations, know that we have to change this system that brought only rich and super rich to come to power.
In another development, Debo Adeniro advised Nigerians to be wary not to sell their votes, but rather get their permanent voter cards and vote out corrupt leaders come 2019. Still ahead, Kaduna